All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight is Monday, August 10th. It is 5 p.m. It's the special meeting of the Bridgeport Board of Education. Or at the Econ, conference 305. Board chair, we have Joseph Palovic in person, Maritza Schmerin-Megas, Albert Bennington in person, and online we have Joanne Burks Jennings, Mon Daniels, Rob Traber, Billy Medina. We'll get started. We have public comment. We'll start with Janita Hayes. We'll have 3 minutes. You can go right to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Janita Hayes, proud resident of Bridgeport. I have three wonderful daughters, two of which are Bridgeport Board of Ed or public school students. I'm here for two reasons. One, that I didn't write on here. I am also on the Blue Ribbon Commission on K through 12 education funding and accountability for the state. And we are in the midst of collecting surveys from all Connecticut residents. And so I do have literature here in hopes of getting any and all folks, including children, to take the survey by the end of the month. So it closes on August 31st. And we're really looking for any and everyone, whether you have children or not, to weigh in on how we use our funding across the state for all of our schools. We are commissioned to review how the schools are funded across the state, study what's working in Connecticut and other states, as well as listening to wonderful folks like yourself, families, educators, our community, as we develop the recommendations that we want the governor to take into consideration next year for implementation. And so the hope is that you'll share your input, but you'll also hold us accountable to make sure that we're recommending what's necessary for our state. But don't stop there either. Once the governor has these recommendations, making sure that we are still holding the governor accountable to implement what we're recommending. I am also here. I hear that you are considering our interim superintendent, who now coming up on year number 2 as our interim, looking at his evaluation, his performance. And I just want to say kudos to him and all of those who are supporting you as a longtime Bridgeport resident and students within the school system. I will say the communication has been excellent, right? So I am receiving text messages, phone calls, the parent square usage, emails, you name it, on keeping me abreast of what's happening, how to be engaged and stay involved. And I appreciate that. I'm not going to downplay any other leadership, but I will say with him in leadership so far, it has been really well received and appreciated, because he truly does have the heart of our children, as well as the staff that support our children in mind. And you can see that through the action as well as his words. I will say, once I was provided the opportunity to serve on the Blue Ribbon Commission, he reached out, him and his team reached out to me to make sure that I understood the ins and outs of what is happening with the financial stability of our school system and what's necessary, what we need to see changed on a state level, and moving on down to the local level. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Next, we have Loretta Montero. And you have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Loretta Montero, and I'm a proud Bridgeport teacher for 18 years. I am here today in support of Dr. Avery, remaining on and continuing his role as superintendent. Dr. Avery has done an amazing job in Bridgeport. One thing that stands out is Dr. Avery is visible. He is everywhere. He is in our schools. He is at our events. He is at community events. The students know him, the teachers know him, the families know him, and I think that says a lot about his character. So some of the things, the amazing things that he has done over the past couple of years has been, he has tightened things up in the special education department, having more credible IEPs. He has done so much for our multilingual language learners. And especially with exiting out, 30% of our students were exited out this year. Over 300 kids were exited out of ESL services, which is amazing. And just in the support he's put in as far as for the professional development for teachers, and just really making sure that they stuck to that curriculum framework. And I think our biggest thing that Dr. Avery has done is when I say he's visible and he's everywhere, is he's advocating for our students. He's advocating for them. He believes in them. He thinks that our students, the same way that I do, which is why I'm still here after 18 years, our students deserve the same things as other students that maybe live 5 minutes away in a different district. And he's making sure that that gets done. So I think that he makes teachers feel respected. He makes students feel valued, and he makes families feel supported. And that's what really stands out for us. He did say when he started that he would stay as long as he's needed. I believe that he is still needed. We need him to keep making all of these great things and making Bridgeport move forward. And thank you for your time tonight. I hope that you guys think about it and let him stay. Thank you.
And then the last thing is Christina Nelson. I'm gonna.
Excuse me.
3 minutes, Nelson.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's all Ms. Nelson gets. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I just want to say, I've been around, I'm a Bridgeporter. And I've seen, I was here since Mr. Conley was the superintendent, and there probably was some before that when I actually attended school. So Bridgeport has been through a host of different personalities. When I really started getting involved and coming to your meetings and supporting my daughter with her 4 young kids, which every parent is supposed to do, I might not have sounded too friendly when I speak passionately about, making sure not just my family gets properly educated, but kids in Bridgeport. Because in my retirement life, I work with a lot of inner city kids out there, dropping out of school, parents got issues, everything. But I say that to say, I'm not here for number 2, number 3, or number 4. I'm here for number 5. And I want to say that I too support my family and I and the community I represent in the 135th district support you, Dr. Avery. And I'm a believer that, I can come here and raise my voice and be a little disgruntled because I'm not happy. But, as adults in Bridgeport, we have to roll our sleeves up and work with what we have. And not everybody wants to raise their hand and come to Bridgeport. I'll be the first to tell you that. Bridgeport gets a bad rap. But I come from the education part of Bridgeport where we were producing very educated people in the city. And I think that's what Dr. Avery's mission is, to try to change some of the negative into the positive. And the reason why I know that, because he's extended meetings with me one-on-one. And when the superintendent allows complainers to come in his office and sit down and talk like gentlemen, that says a lot to me, because you can get a little nervous and, you always got something to do and you don't want to let us in. The man has offered more than one time, and I truly appreciate that. You listen, and that's very important because, when we talk, I tell you before I leave, you can't do it by yourself. You need the community to get behind you. You need these folks in here that you work with to get behind you, because our children need positive leadership. And I'm giving you that respect. You are positive from what I've gathered. You've never been negative. We may not agree on everything, but you listen and we try to work things out. And that's all we can ask of a superintendent. So I appreciate it. I'm here to support you. Whatever you need me for, you have my number, you give me a call. Thank you.
Include-
That was 1 to 3.
Okay.
You did good.
That concludes public speaking for the night. Tonight's agenda is Mr. Chairman.
It's not on the agenda. I made this remark since last week, but a few of us went to the Cave Summer Leadership. The survey was reported on at Cape Summer Leadership. There was a panel on the Blue Ribbon Commission. And the survey was reported on, and it was reported that it was important for people to chime in. I know we put it out in the parent square. I want to do a more robust push to get Bridgeporters to fill out the survey. But it was also reported at Cape Summer Leadership that the county with the most respondents was Fairfield County. And the most respondents in Fairfield County were from the suburbs, not Bridgeport. So we do want to do a big push to get Bridgeporters to respond. So I know tomorrow's the election. That's been preoccupying everybody's time. But after tomorrow, we want to do a big push to get Bridgeporters to respond to this survey because it's really important and in our interest to have Bridgeport opinions heard by the commission, as was stated. So that's all I wanted to say, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Jessica.
To piggyback on what Mr. Traver mentioned, I did have my family fill it out because we want to make sure that, Bridgeport is equitably, we're being heard. But I also did notice, and some food for thought is that survey is not available in Spanish. It's not available in Portuguese either, or Haitian Creole, which puts us at a disadvantage. So just kind of wanted to bring that up to see if that's possible.
I don't know if I'm allowed to comment, but I believe that it is, but I'll double check.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go into the agenda. The first item, second item on the agenda is for executive session. So we do have two executive session items tonight. Second item is the item. So the first one is approval of the proposed settlement agreement involving a minor, and portion of this matter may occur in executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, section 1-200. And so going into executive session would be Dr. Avery and the board. Williams. So if there's a motion. Favor? No, not this one.
Motion to go into executive session, to discuss.
Motion made by Mr. Sapalic and seconded by Mr. Traver. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Aye, William Medina.
Favor? Aye.
I, Lamont Daniels.
Thank you. For those of you online, just check your link. That was set. It should have been set just now, for item, okay? Is there two?
Thank you. Sam, you still there, Sam?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I can't see the video, FYI. I'm trying to send it a couple of texts.
It's working everywhere.
I just logged in and it's there.
Okay. I can only see video conference, it says VA. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next one. And then I'll come back and sign back in.
Okay.
Thank you.
after executive session at 6:35.
Yeah, motion to approve the proposed settlement agreement involving a minor as discussed in executive session and to authorize Dr. Avery to sign the settlement agreement.
Second, Mr. Bennett.
Motion made by Ms. Astor Merriman, and second by Mr. Benyon. We'll take a vote, or any further discussion? Seeing none, take a vote, all in favor, say aye.
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 Yes, aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the Disability Research Network contract. So we have,
Hello.
oh, hi.
Actually, I'll start off. Good evening, Jessica. Thank you for joining the meeting today. Jessica is is it CFO? I mean, actually the
Executive director at the moment.
DRN. She's going to kind of give you an overview of the services that they provide to the district. And then we can talk about, the items that you had under separate cover for this item as well. Just now, go ahead, Jessica, and kind of give us an overview and talk a little bit about historical, perspective from your family and what you got done over the last couple of years for the children of Bridgeport Public Schools.
Sure. So some of you may have known my father, John Esteves. He was the director and founder of Disability Resource Network. He was a special education advocate, and he started DRN in order to work with primarily high school students with disabilities. He was in a wheelchair himself following a car accident and really was passionate about making sure that our young adults knew how to access their community, were able to participate fully in things like sports and recreation, and also, launch into adulthood with the skills necessary to navigate their communities. With Bridgeport especially, he was from Bridgeport. He was passionate about Bridgeport. He really wanted to make sure that Bridgeport Public School students were having access to services required for them to succeed. We've worked with Bridgeport for over 15 years, and we kind of provide two different areas of service. One is academics, where students who aren't thriving in a traditional school setting have been outplaced to finish their academics. Sometimes they need credit recovery. We do work with students who not only have a disability, but often are involved in the juvenile justice system. So they may have fallen behind and need to have credit recovery, like I said. And then we also are a Connecticut certified transition center. So that's serving your 18 to 22-year-olds who are moving into working on things like independent living services, post-secondary education, vocational skills, community involvement. And like I said, we've been doing that for about 15 years. Whether that's students who are strictly outplaced with us, or if we were hired to work with a student who in the past maybe was starting to explore something like placement at Housatonic Community College and required supports. We also have a fleet of accessible vehicles, so we've assisted with that in the past as well. Currently, our program for the 2026 to 2027 school year has 24 students that had services recommended to continue for this year. So I did draft up a proposal kind of breaking out what the total cost for the year would be and where those costs are coming from, whether they're going just for the main program. Some of our students require what we call 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 paraprofessionals. So whether they have 1 or 2 dedicated staff members for them, that's often due to the need for behavioral intervention or for the safety of the other students because of the past outbursts of the student themselves. And then we also provide transportation. So we have a base transportation, and then we also have a transportation rate for a student who may need to have that staff member in the vehicle with them, seated beside them for their safety or the driver's safety. And also we service students who attend Bridgeport schools because of their DCF nexus, but they're actually living elsewhere. So having to go to, another town or district to pick them up and bring them back to our facility, versus the rest of our students would be inside the Bridgeport district. So I tried to break it out just so that you can understand where the costs were coming from. And I also included how it would work if a new student was referred to us mid-year, just to make sure that the board was aware the costs remain the same. They're just prorated unless a student were to have some unanticipated need. Then obviously we would have to have a discussion with superintendent's office about what that need was, how it was going to be serviced, if we were the appropriate people to serve it, or if the district could provide that service, as well as how it would process exiting students. If a student moves out of district, or it's determined that they're going to reintegrate into Bridgeport Public Schools, or they're graduating, something like that.
Thank you for that, Jessica. I think, Madam Chair, I think to add to that, last year and the year before that, I think we serviced 34 kids in that program. This year, we dropped that down to 24 students. So there's a difference of 10 individuals. So when you start looking at individual IEP requests that was part of your packet, you can see that there's varying costs based on tuition, one-to-one para, one two-to-one para, transportation, individual transportation, or bus transportation. So all those varies based on the PPT decision that's made before the child is placed. So I can't give you a identified amount per kid until the IEP is completed, PPT is completed, evaluations are completed, and then it's set from there. Again, Mr. Traber mentioned earlier, why didn't we get these prior to? Jessica and her family just had a baby a couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago, and so she was not there to connect with me as well. That's why it's so late in the game to get this to you. And moving forward, by May, all these things will be in place. Her and I've already talked about it, that we're going to be able to, and I do want to clarify that the university school and DRN are two separate entities. They're not the same company. And people thought it is the same, but it's two separate, entities, programs for children across the district. And so I always wanted to make sure that I clarify that. That's why she's in charge of that one. Her brother is in charge of the university schools side of the house as well. So I just wanted to make sure that that's clear.
Just,
Oh,
I didn't, he said something, and I didn't catch it.
how many left? 34.
Yeah, 34 last year,
I'm sorry.
and then 24 this year.
Mr. Sakalovic?
Yeah, I guess I'll have a couple of questions. Separate and distinct in the university school, but the contracts are somewhat similar. Is it a flat fee for 24? And if we don't use 24, we're still on the hook for that fee?
Still true.
No. Yeah, you want to explain that, Jessica?
Yeah, so for DRN, it is very different than university school. DRN only does contracts on an individualized student basis. So Bridgeport would only be charged for a student once a placement has been agreed to at the PPT. Contract is sent for that specific student to the superintendent. Once the superintendent signs off, then that student's charges start, and they would stop the day that student either exited or graduated from DRN. Versus university school, you're paying to reserve seats, as I understand it. That is not how DRN operates. We only charge for a student from the day they walk into our building and then stop the day they are exited.
Okay, next question. What's the average cost of special education services for our students?
It depends on who's the service provider. That's one of the things the state is working on, because everybody has a different fee for whatever service that they provide the district. So I can't give you an average cost for, Royce over here, depending on what the PPT decides, and the services that the parent is wanting and the student's needing, that's when the agreement is made in the PPT. Then it's moved forward to whichever outplacement site is going to go to. So if DRN wasn't the outplacement site and Royce's house is beyond this. So I may charge more than what she charges. So we have to negotiate that in a way that's going to be meaningful for the district.
And I asked because it averages out to $146,500 per pupil, and that seems cheap.
But it could be higher than that too. On an average, because they've worked so long with the district, they've done a really good job of trying to kind of keep the cost lower than normal. So again, it's just a matter of the service provider. I got some out district placement. We pay almost $1 million a year for one kid because of the student and the severity of the need to be met by the district.
And as we just discussed, if we do come up upon one of those $1 million students, we're gonna have to renegotiate the additional terms for unforeseen circumstances.
Excuse me.
I think I missed.
Right, she said if a student has additional needs during the school years or whatever.
They have to go back to PPT.
Right.
And then they have to agree to that type of service. They have to come back to the district and say, I need an additional 50 hours of counseling, in order to meet the kid's need. And then we calculate that cost. And then we go back to PPT, well, make sure PPT and the district agrees, and then the contract is renegotiated.
Right, but so would they have the right to refuse students over that have these needs, or will they, how do they choose who they accept for the week? And still remain profitable as a firm?
Well, and that's one of the things that Jessica and her staff did before coming back to me, because I said, we have to reduce the cost that we're providing. So she came back and looked at it, said, as a matter of fact, from 34 to 10, you're gonna be able to kind of recoup a little bit of those monies, because each one of those 10 students that are no longer on the roll count, has a different amount that we can calculate as a savings. A lot of them were seniors. So some of them moved out of the district, so they're no longer in district because they connected with another school district. So that's savings in itself that, although we didn't put it into her contract, because it would have been probably another, what would you guesstimate on that, Jessica?
Almost $1 million for some of those students. We also, I'd like to point out, we do try to reintegrate. So some of those students, we actually reintegrated back to Bridgeport versus trying to keep them essentially where they had been placed with us. And during the year, we worked with Bridgeport, had students start attending 1 to 2 classes, and then they were able to successfully go back to their home high school. So it's not always a case that a student's placed with DRN that it's a permanent placement. We will work with the district to get the student back under the main high school's housing.
And let me explain a little bit of, one of the things that this district has done, because a couple of years ago, there was a free flowing in and out of the district and out of district placements. There was no rhyme or reason as to who, what, and when. Campuses used to call that campus and say, hey, I got a kid coming. You want to take them? Sure, we'll take them. But district didn't authorize that. We have protocol in place now to really take a good look at how and why kids are being sent out of district. The process has to be set up and followed. And this is because it's a huge cost effective way of making sure we do our business right. If we don't design programs in district, so whenever we bring these kids back, we got to be able to do that. So that's what we're doing now. People call it the gatekeeping, but it's important that through a PPT, there's things that we can offer and things that parents can request, but we can also have to have that agreement of, is it in the best interest of the educational process for the child? That's what the PPT decision is all about. It's not just to say, just because you want it, we're going to give it to you. What is the educational value for doing it that way or going to that location if we don't have it in district? So there's a lot of processes that we put in place over the last 2 years that's going to help this. And then when the state comes in this next year, guys, that's gonna be streamlined across the board because they're gonna set the rates. And that's where the Blue Ribbon Commission is gonna come in as well, that they're gonna set that rate for everybody. Because if you have, right now, guys, we have site services. I may have someone charging me $100 an hour, $150 an hour, $175 an hour, $200 an hour, $250 an hour. And we're at the mercy of the service provider to decide, do we want to do this one or not? That's what's been happening over the last couple of years. So state has stepped in, they're ready to take action as well. But we started the process earlier to try to streamline this whole process. And so very, excited and very proud that we put some things in place that's going to help this situation moving forward. And we have about 260 out of district placements. So when you start adding that up, I mean, we're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars out of district placements. And some of these have been out of district placements since they were second and third graders in elementary school. And some of them are 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders now. They've been in those out of district placements. And nobody in this system has went back and say, how are you impacting this child from Bridgeport in your placement? We didn't have people going to visit these sites. So those are the things that we put in place over the last 2 years to streamline what we're spending. And the only way this system's going to get better is that we have some accountability in the money that's being spent. A lot of service providers have taken advantage of paying the bills. Bridgeport pays their bills, but they're not saying, why are you charging me $400 when the contract says $200 per incident, right? So those are the things. Check your bills when we do it at our own homes, right? But we're not doing that enough in this district. And so we've part of the audit, that we've got, the 34 recommendations is those types of things to make the system tighter, in the finances that we do. And then you guys are gonna be pleased as well, because we're gonna be putting those data financial worksheets in your hands so you can really follow along with this district as we move forward to be stewards of the taxpayers' money. Very, very excited about that. That's new programs that we're working to integrate to get more information to the board. It's just a matter of just staying the course and getting it done, getting better at what we do and feeling confident that we can say enough's enough. We're getting billed in some out of district placement, the kids not even coming to school. So guess what? This year, they have to do our attendance in those out of district placements because we want to know if the kid is not there and not have them charge us when the kid's not there. But that's what's happening. So those are the things that me as a district has to sum up. And we're ready. I think the plan is ready to be executed this school year in the next couple of weeks when we start school, and feel good about that. Feel excited that we have a whole new process. We're getting questioned by service providers, but it's okay. We're putting things on our own contracts that our attorneys develop, not using their own individual contracts. The game has changed, and this is what we do differently in Bridgeport Public Schools. And so this is why we're here, and feel confident that we will make it work to the best of our ability. We have checks and balances in place to follow through and follow up. And that's what we're doing.
Mr. Traver?
You're done? Yes. These 24 students are fixed for the year. Are all their IEPs completed?
Yes.
So we do know how many get 2 paras, how many get 1 para. We do know how many are being bused from Bridgeport to school. We do know how many are being bused from out of Bridgeport to their school.
I have all 24 contracts,
Right, so we know it's not that we just get a, here's what the service rates are. We actually know how many
Yes, sir.
paras we're paying for
Yes, sir.
and how many teachers we're paying for. So we could have a more detailed bill here than what we are seeing being provided.
Absolutely. I will provide the individual contracts to you, and I thought I'd put them in there.
I'm not looking per se for the individual contracts, but we could have a more detailed.
We can give you the number
How many
of,
paras we're
yeah,
paying
we
for,
can do
how
that.
many teachers we're paying for in this contract, you know,
Yes.
all that, how many. It's just, you know, here we have here's the rates. I get that. Now, secondly, these para rates.
Mhm.
How do they compare to our para rates?
Is Nestor online?
Yes, I am. How are you? Good
Did
evening,
you-
everyone.
Did that question, Nestor?
Well, the district para rate is inclusive of pension contribution and health insurance. So the outside para rate is way cheaper, to answer your question. Yes.
It's for the pairs, we pay for the MRF, the insurance.
I understand what Nestor's saying. I get what he's saying. I was asking the salaries. This is a $45,000 annually. $45,000 salary.
What's the average salary for an in-district pair, Nestor?
It's about 36, but you have to add, depending if the individual has a family, you have to add $37,000 for health insurance.
I understand that now. Remember, I negotiated contracts too.
Okay,
But I was just curious on the salary itself, the rate, what's listed as a rate.
Mhm.
I don't even know if their rate includes, you know, a cut that goes to the company. I don't know any of that. I see it. I was just curious how it compared. As I read the agreement.
Any
That's all.
questions?
That's
Any
all.
questions?
No.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yeah. I said no, no other questions.
I'm sorry, two questions on the ferry, who's supervising?
The supervisors, the out-of-district placement, the special ed division.
And, who review and pass the program?
Special ed division. You know, and there will be a supervisor, you know, in charge of out-of-district placements. And they're the ones who are gonna be double checking and working with the providers to make sure everything IEPs are managed and all of those types of things as well. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Move to approve the Disability Resource Network contract.
Second, Mr. Benanger.
Motion made by Mr. Traver, second by Mr. Benjamin. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hi, Willie Medina.
Any abstentions?
Thanks, Carl.
The colleague abstains. All right, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's okay. Have a great night.
It's been a long Monday.
I bet.
Thank you. We'll get back with you soon.
Okay, bye.
Next item is approval of the qualified purchase / single source sprinkler system maintenance. Ms. Harville. Welcome back.
Good evening. This is for the rate fire vendor contract for 45,000 for this fiscal year. Rate fire is the vendor we've been using for decades or more, I think, in the history that I provided since 2010 that I know of in Munis history. They inspect the sprinkler systems throughout the district. There are annual inspections that are required for code, and sometimes there are inspections that are every 5 years. And then if they find anything that needs to be repaired, when they're there, they repair the sprinkler head. We do this as a qualified purchase because they're a single source, because they've been here for so long and they have such knowledge. And they always extend their pricing every year for us. They also, if we got another vendor to come in, they would have to figure out the history of the sprinkler system, go through every school. That would be a cost to the district, top of the inspections.
comment?
Yeah, no problem with the qualified purchase. I just want to know you said they maintained the prices. No, there's no increase or?
Not for the inspections, but obviously parts and labor, if there is a repairs with it. An increase.
Mr. Mayor Jimenez?
So I have a question about the single source. Have we done like an RFI or anything like that? I realize that we, we're saving time and money from having someone that already knows the building, keep doing, the work. But have we done an RFI just to make sure that what we're paying is adequate?
We did not do that this year. I'm not sure if we've done it in the past. I know if we did do that, it would be walking through a vendor through every single school that has a sprinkler system, which takes time and resources. And I believe we would have to advertise that.
Yes.
So it would be a bid since we usually spend over 45,000. And a lot of contractors may not come out knowing. Because once we do that bid, then we're set to have to go with that bid. I believe I'm not sure.
Not for request for information, you're just asking for information, so you're not locking down the proposal. I was just curious to see, based on the market, how does that
We
work?
haven't done that, but I will say, this year, any of the bids that I had to rebid for services came in significantly more, and we had to go with them because we can't hold the price. Our bids were only done for 3 to 5 years.
And thank you. I'm not surprised at the price going up.
Well, the cost of gasoline, especially for landscape services, the cleanups this year tripled. Right.
My last question is, the 45,000 is cost of inspections for all the schools, all 39.
All schools that have sprinkler systems, not all schools necessarily have them. We're required to have them because of the age of the. Right.
Their grandfather, Jim, gotcha.
And that 45,000 includes what I usually predict might be repairs, but you never know. I mean, a student could kick a ball and a sprinkler head and there's $5,000 in flood and repairs, so.
Brenner?
Thank you. And they have a guarantee, just think something happened, they will come and fix it, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not
we
gonna be
have a very
charging
good
extra money.
relationship
Okay.
with the vendor.
Thank you.
The city, I believe, uses this vendor as well. I know, years ago when I worked for the city and we still had the baseball field, they would repair all of the sprinkler heads, the pipes there.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the qualified purchase / single source for sprinkler system maintenance.
Mr. Bennett for 1 second.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Seconding that motion. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
I, Willie Medina.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
That passes. Thank you, Mr. Carl. Okay, last item. This one qualifies for executive session. If we go into executive session, we'll go on with, Mark Anastasi from the city attorney's office. Dr. Reed may come in at some point, may not, so no, we'll figure it out. I'll announce it just in case. So the item is the discussion of and possible action concerning Dr. Avery's employment performance and evaluation as interim superintendent, including possible increase of annualized salary for Dr. Avery as the interim superintendent and amendment of the employment agreement between Dr. Avery and the board to reflect such salary adjustment. Portions of this matter may occur in executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-206. It takes 2/3 to go into executive session. So is there a motion to go?
Both of you go into executive session. This matter.
Second.
Okay,
Who's saying?
Mr. Anastasi.
all right.
I'm saying.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
I, Willie Medina.
Aye. And then you're abstaining?
I'm just saying for the record, because I feel like you need to, something that we know today is gonna be, and, like to be transparency, what everyone, so everybody knows what's going on, so that's my,
Okay,
that's just right.
all
For
right.
the record.
So we're gonna go into executive session. Folks online, I forgot to say enough, Mr. Woodson has joined us. But folks online, you can join, that link that was sent earlier by Danielle. We're going in now. Thanks.
Ah.
Oh, you've been ready. We're ready. We're back from executive sessions, 8:50. We did not take any votes in executive session and we're coming back, with a motion to table the item. For the next meeting.
Motion to table item number 5 until our next meeting.
Second, Mr. Benangali.
All right, motion made by Mrs. Colovic, seconded by Mr. Benningham. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any
Medina
abstentions?
opposed.
Uh-huh. Motion carries.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night, everyone.
Motion to adjourn,
So to adjourn.
second,
Second.
okay. With that, all in favor, aye.
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 Medina Willie.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
There you go.